Last December, by unanimous decision of almost 200 countries, Azerbaijan was honored to host COP29. As the president of COP29, Azerbaijan will do its best to find common understanding between developed and developing countries, between Global South and Global North. We have 72,000 registered participants from 196 countries. Among them, 80 presidents, vice presidents, and prime ministers. So the world gathered in Baku, and we say to the world, welcome to Azerbaijan. Thank you.
COP29, the 29th edition of the United Nations Climate Change Conference, marks an important milestone in the global efforts to combat climate change. Held annually, this conference serves as a platform for countries' scientists, environmental experts, and organizations to discuss policies and strategies for addressing the climate crisis. This year's conference took place in Baku, Azerbaijan, and focused on discussions related to both mitigation and adaptation measures for climate change. The primary goal of COP29 is to reduce greenhouse gas emission and limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade. Key issues discussed included climate financing, energy transition, and climate justice. Representatives from various countries, scientists, climate activists, and environmental organizations came together to foster global cooperation and collective action. The decisions made during this conference shaped the climate policies worldwide, paving the way for a unified global effort to combat climate change.
We are in the final countdown to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And time is not on our side. Exhibit A 2024, with the hottest day on record and the hottest months on record, this is almost certain to be the hottest year on record. And the masterclass in climate destruction. Families running for their lives before the next hurricane strikes. Biodiversity destroyed in sweltering seas. Workers and pilgrims collapsing in insufferable heat. Floods tearing through communities and tearing down infrastructure. Children going to bed hungry as droughts ravage crops. And all these disasters and more are being supercharged by human-made climate change. And no country is spared.
Brahmakumaris played an important role at this crucial global conference. The Brahmakumaris team, including Additional Chief B.K. Jayanti Didi, Senior Sister Maureen, Valerina, Sonja, Golo, Anita, Olga, Vinny, Burhan, Birajit, Natasha, Nure, and Shantanu demonstrated how the integration of spiritual perspectives and climate science can yield sustainable and impactful results.
I'd like to begin with a greeting of peace, omshanti. Om means I am, and shanti is peace. And yes, definitely, when there's peace within, something changes very dramatically within our consciousness, and we begin to have respect for ourselves, respect for human beings, for all forms of life, and for nature itself. So non-violence and doing no harm to others becomes an intrinsic way of our being. And you can see how we heard about the horrific statistics of war and the impact on the environment. We also heard about faith coalition, faiths coming together. When there's peace within, then I'm able to have a state of self-respect, self-awareness. And in that, I'm able to respect other religions, old traditions. I'm able to respect human beings, but most of all forms of life and nature itself. My understanding is that from the moment we lost contact with our own inner identity, our spiritual identity, from that moment we lost respect for ourselves, but also we lost respect all the way down the line, and the exploitation and the aggression that exists between human beings and humans and nature is a direct outcome of this. And so if we wish to reverse the process, we have to go back to the awareness of the inner being within. And in that awareness of who I truly am, then with that platform of self-respect in my own inner identity, my consciousness changes, everything else around me also changes. But on a very practical level, I know that the Brahmakumaris are one of the leading users of renewable energies in India. We have over 5,000 centers, and many of the larger ones are equipped with solar systems, but also the smaller centers use solar cookers. Just one example, our main headquarters in Abu caters for 30,000 people at a time. And we prepare all our meals with solar thermal power. And just imagine, we're able to prepare a meal for 30,000 people in 90 minutes. Now, this is a direct outcome of using the inner awareness of peace to creating a solar system which is totally new and was developed as something which was the first of its kind in India. You heard about Anata spending 10 years as a volunteer working as a project manager for this. And the motivation came from inner peace. It leads to an expansion of our horizon and creativity in a way that is used for peaceful means in the world.
It's a place where many come together to really consider this crisis that we're in, which is the greatest crisis of our time, the environmental crisis. And we in the Brahmakumaris have been coming to COP conferences since 2009. And we want to bring the message of the importance of spirituality. So we host side events, press conferences, are involved in many different meetings, and most importantly involved with the faith-based organizations, part of the Interfaith Liaison Committee, which reports directly to the main UN body that oversees the COP conferences. And it's very important to bring the spiritual and ethical dimension. This is known as the finance COP, and still the richer nations are exploiting the poorer nations, even though the poorer nations have been the victims of the massive overuse of resources of the richer nations. And it's time to redress the balance. It's not yet quite happening, but there are two things. Spirituality, of course, takes us inside, gives us a lot of inner strength, helps us to build up our inner resilience, because there are many challenges to face in terms of what's happening with the climate all over the world. So we need that inner strength.
The message from Brahmakumaris is clear. Combating the climate crisis cannot solely rely on technology and science. It is equally important to embrace internal transformation, peace, meditation, and social responsibility. The conference demonstrated that a combined efforts of collective action and spiritual perspective is essential to address climate change. Only through such an integrated approach can we hope to preserve our planet and provide a safe and stable environment for future generations. Remembrance Day was observed at the Brahmakumaris Centre in Leicester, UK. As we all know, Remembrance Day is observed to honor the brave soldiers who lost their lives in the world wars, and other military conflicts. This year, once again, the day was commemorated with deep respect and reverence in Leicester. At the Leicester Brahmakumaris Centre, this special event was organized to pay tribute to the soldiers who sacrificed their lives in the world wars and other conflicts. On this occasion, Lord Lieutenant of Rutland, Dr. Sarah Furness, attended as the chief guest and paid tribute to the fallen heroes. In addition, Miss Leicestershire, Miss Asia's second runner-up, Resham Singh Sandhu, MBE DL PBS, and Lieutenant Colonel David Young TDDL also joined as special guests for the event. They were warmly welcomed by the Centre Coordinator Sister Indu and Raj Yoga teacher Sister Sukanti. At this special event, everyone observed a 2-minute silence to honor the valor and sacrifice of the fallen soldiers. This program was not only a tribute but also an inspiration, reminding us to always remember their struggle and sacrifice and motivating us to work towards peace. That's all for now. Thank you for watching our broadcast today. We hope that you found our coverage informative and valuable. Join us again next time for more news and updates on events around the world. Till then, take care and goodbye.